The stars stretched endlessly across the dark void, glittering like tiny fires scattered on black silk. The ship Horizon sailed silently between them, cutting through the emptiness with steady grace. On board, the crew moved with a quiet determination, aware that every mission beyond known space was a test of courage, skill, and humanity itself. Captain Elena Ramirez sat in her command chair, eyes fixed on the starfield displayed on the holographic screen before her. Her hands hovered above the controls, but she did not need to touch them yet. Years of experience had taught her that sometimes the hardest part of space travel was waiting, watching and listening. "Captain," said Lieutenant Aaron Cho, the communications officer, breaking the stillness. His voice was calm but held a hint of tension. "I'm picking up something." "Unusual," Elena straightened. "Unusual how?" Aaron's fingers danced across the console. "It's a signal. Weak, but it's repeating. Not from any known colony or satellite. Coordinates place it, back at Earth." The word hung in the cabin like a sudden chill. Earth, the planet humanity had left centuries ago. The blue jewel in the darkness, abandoned, silent, and long thought dead. "Earth?" whispered Dr. Lyla Ortega, the ship's chief scientist. Her brown eyes widened as she leaned closer to the screen. "Are you sure it's not a glitch?" Aaron shook his head. "No, ma'am. I've checked and rechecked. It's a real signal. And it's coded, highly encrypted." Elena's mind raced. Earth had been silent for generations. Humanity had spread across dozens of star systems. Earth had been a memory, a story told to children in classrooms. Now somehow it was calling them back. "Can you decode it?" Elena asked. Aaron hesitated. "I can try, but if it's ancient, it may take hours or days." Elena's jaw tightened. "Do it and keep me updated." "Everyone stay alert." "Something tells me this isn't ordinary." The crew dispersed, each returning to their stations, the hum of the Horizon's engines filling the silence. Outside, stars moved slowly, the blackness of space unchanging. Yet inside the ship, tension simmered like a storm ready to break. Hours passed. The crew worked tirelessly, translating fragments of the transmission. Finally, Aaron called Elena back to the communications deck. "I've got something," he said, his voice almost trembling. He tapped a series of holographic panels displaying lines of text. They were simple yet chilling. "You've doomed yourselves." Elena felt the words settle over her like ice. She looked around the deck at her crew. Dr. Ortega's hands trembled slightly as she read the message. It's a warning," she said softly. "But from whom? And about what?" Aaron shook his head. "The system is old. Whatever sent this, it's been waiting a long time. Maybe centuries." Captain Ramirez stood tall. She had faced danger in the void before. Asteroid storms, malfunctioning AI, pirates, but this was different. This was a message from the past, from a planet that had once been home, telling humanity it had failed in some way. "Prepare for course adjustment," Elena ordered. "We're heading back to Earth. If there's any chance this warning is real, we'll find out. And we'll do whatever it takes to understand it." The ship's engines roared to life, propelling them toward the Sol system. Crew members worked at their stations, checking navigation, monitoring energy levels, and preparing for what might await them at their homeworld. Days passed in tense anticipation. The transmission repeated itself, each cycle slightly different, adding fragments to the warning. Some were cryptic, like mathematical equations or star maps. Others seemed almost human, full of emotion, fear, and regret. Dr. Ortega pored over the data, trying to find patterns. "It's like someone, or something, left pieces of a puzzle," she said. "They wanted us to put it together to understand the mistake that was made." Aaron leaned in. "And that mistake, it's serious. Whatever they mean by doomed, it wasn't small. It sounds catastrophic." Elena's mind wandered. Humanity had been careless in the early days of space colonization. Environmental collapse on Earth had forced them to leave, but they had learned from it, or so they thought. Could this message mean the danger they believed they had escaped still existed? "Perhaps it's a warning about ourselves," Elena said quietly. "About what we might become if we repeat the same mistakes." The crew fell silent, each lost in thought. The Horizon sped through space, a small vessel against the infinite backdrop of stars. And somewhere ahead, Earth awaited, silent and empty, or so they thought. When they arrived in the Sol system, the view of Earth from orbit was breathtaking yet sorrowful. The planet's blue oceans shimmered, but the lands were scarred and lifeless. Cities once bustling with life were now ruins, crumbling into the oceans and deserts. Clouds swirled in unusual patterns, evidence of climate systems struggling to stabilize. "This is worse than I imagined," whispered Lieutenant Cho. "I knew it had changed, but I didn't expect this level of devastation." Dr. Ortega's voice was trembling. "The planet's ecosystem. It's almost completely collapsed. The oceans are toxic in places. Forests are gone. Animals, if any survived, they are few." Elena stared at the planet she had never truly known but had always felt connected to. "We left this world thinking we could survive somewhere else. But whatever happened here, it has a lesson for us, and we need to learn it." As the Horizon prepared for orbital scans, Aaron's console beeped urgently. "Captain, I'm picking up residual AI signals. Old human-made programs. Still active. They're holding data, holographic archives, records of Earth's last years." Elena's eyes widened. "Can we access them?" "Yes, ma'am. But they're heavily encrypted. Whoever made them, they didn't want just anyone to see this." "Do it," she said firmly. "We need to know the truth." Hours turned into days as the crew worked tirelessly to unlock the ancient AI systems. Finally, a holographic figure appeared in the center of the deck, glowing faintly. It was human in shape but made of translucent light, moving with an almost ghostly grace. "Welcome," the AI said, its voice calm and measured. "I am a guardian of Earth's final knowledge. You seek answers. You must know humanity's choices led to this. But the spirit of our people, our curiosity and determination, lives on." Elena stepped forward. "We want to understand. Tell us what happened." The AI paused, scanning the crew. "You must see, not just hear. Observe the records, the efforts, and the failures. Humanity's strength was great, but so was its arrogance. We tried to save the planet, but we could not prevent what was coming. Yet we left a message, hoping future humans would learn and survive." Dr. Ortega's voice shook as she absorbed the truth. "It's a warning, but also a message of hope?" The AI nodded. "Yes, learn from the past. Be wiser. Do not repeat our errors. And perhaps you can survive where we could not." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. The AI's words were both terrifying and inspiring. Humanity's past had been flawed, but their future was not yet written. As the crew of the Horizon watched the holographic records, they saw humans striving against impossible odds, building massive environmental stabilizers, attempting to reverse climate collapse, and debating morality, technology, and survival. The images were a testament to human ingenuity and courage, even in the face of inevitable failure. Elena knew then that this mission was no longer just exploration. It was a chance to honor those who had come before and to prove that humanity could rise above its mistakes. "We will not fail," she said, her voice steady, filled with determination. "Whatever Earth tried to warn us about, we will face it, and we will survive." The crew nodded, united by purpose. Outside, Earth hung in the darkness, silent yet speaking in its own way. The message had been delivered. And now humanity had a choice: learn, adapt, and rise, or ignore the warning and risk doom once more. The stars stretched on endlessly, and the horizon moved through them, carrying the hope, courage, and determination of all humanity. And somewhere in the echoes of Earth's last transmission, a faint voice whispered through the void, "You've doomed yourselves. If you do not listen." But this crew would listen. This crew would act. And perhaps this time humanity could change its destiny. The horizon hovered silently above the ruined planet, its engines humming softly. From orbit, Earth appeared both beautiful and broken. Oceans reflected the sunlight in patches of deep blue, but land masses were scarred with craters, collapsed cities, and forests reduced to ash. The human race had left its cradle, but the cradle itself now told a story of failure and hope. Captain Elena Ramirez stood at the observation deck, staring at the ruins below. She felt a strange mix of sorrow and responsibility. This was her home in a sense, even though she had never lived there. Humanity had grown strong in the stars, but the remnants of Earth were a stark reminder of how fragile even great civilizations could be. "Prepare for atmospheric entry," Elena ordered. "We need to get closer, see what remains, and understand this message fully." Lieutenant Aaron Cho checked the navigation systems. Orbital scans show some stable zones, mainly in old national capitals. But radiation levels and structural decay are high. We'll have to land carefully. Dr. Lila Ortega joined Elena at the observation deck. Her face was pale, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. The AI messages hinted at surviving archives, she said softly. If we can find them, maybe we can understand exactly what went wrong, and how to prevent it from happening again. Elena nodded. Then let's find them. Humanity deserves that knowledge. The horizon descended slowly, its anti-gravity thrusters countering the weakening atmosphere. Dust rose in great clouds from the ruined cities, swirling in patterns that reflected the planet's quiet desolation. The crew felt the weight of history pressing upon them as they prepared to explore. The landing zone was an open plain near what had once been a major city. Skyscrapers lay collapsed like broken toys, their glass and steel gleaming under the sunlight. Roads were cracked, covered with overgrowth, and silent except for the distant winds. The crew suited up, their protective gear shielding them from lingering toxins and unstable air. Stay close, Elena reminded them as they stepped onto the planet. We don't know what we'll find, and we don't know how stable this place is. Aaron adjusted his helmet. It feels eerie, like walking through a ghost story. It's more than eerie, Lila said. It's history. Every piece of debris, every ruined building, it's a lesson. The team moved cautiously toward one of the remaining structures that still showed signs of human architecture. As they entered, holographic sensors activated automatically. Faint blue lights shimmered along the walls, revealing the outlines of human figures frozen in time. It was the first hint that some form of preservation technology had survived. Elena approached one of the holograms. These are people, or records of people, she said. The AI mentioned archives. This must be part of it. The holographic figure came to life, speaking in a calm, almost mournful tone. Welcome, visitors. I am Guardian 17, an AI protector of human knowledge. You seek to understand why the world fell. Observe carefully and you may learn. The crew watched in silence as the AI activated a series of projections. Scenes from the final decades of humanity on Earth unfolded before them. Cities teemed with life, but beneath the surface, problems had been growing. Overpopulation, environmental collapse, and political instability. The humans of Earth, the AI explained, had immense skill and creativity. Yet hubris blinded them to consequences. Decisions were made for convenience or power, not for survival. Climate systems failed, resources dwindled, and eventually the world could no longer sustain its population in the same way. Dr. Ortega's voice shook as she watched. They tried so hard, but it wasn't enough. Aaron frowned. If they had this knowledge, why didn't they send it? Why wait until we arrived? The AI paused. We tried. Messages were sent, warnings encrypted, signals transmitted across space. Many did not reach their intended destination. Yet hope remained. Hope that future humans would learn and act differently. Elena stepped forward. So this message, the warning we received, it's part of that effort? Yes, the AI replied. You are the future. The message is both a warning and a challenge. Learn from the failures of the past, or humanity will face similar dangers once again. The crew continued exploring, entering deeper into the ruins. They discovered laboratories and control centers where humans had once worked tirelessly to save the planet. Machines hummed faintly, powered by old energy sources still functioning despite centuries of neglect. Some held detailed simulations, showing what could have happened if Earth's climate systems had been stabilized. Others showed experiments in artificial intelligence, bioengineering, and planetary repair. Look at this, Lila said, pointing to a holographic display. They were trying to restore ecosystems. Replant forests, clean oceans, even rebuild cities. It wasn't just technology. They were thinking about ethics, survival, the balance of life. Aaron studied the records, and yet it wasn't enough. They failed. Yes, Elena said softly, but failure doesn't erase courage. It doesn't erase effort, and it doesn't erase hope. That's why they left these messages, for us. As they moved through the ruins, they found personal records, diaries, messages to loved ones, and scientific notes. Each told a story of human perseverance, determination, and care. Children's drawings, family portraits, and letters of farewell reminded the crew that the people of Earth had lived full lives, even amid chaos. They weren't perfect, Lila said, but they were human. Smart, brave, flawed, and resilient. Suddenly, Aaron's console beeped urgently. Captain, sensors are picking up something unusual beneath the city. Elena frowned. What is it? Aaron activated the scanners. It's a hidden facility. Large, underground. The AI signals are strongest there. Whatever they left, it's below us. Without hesitation, Elena led the crew to the facility entrance. The door was massive, engraved with faded symbols that once represented human unity and knowledge. With careful coordination, they opened it, revealing a vast underground chamber filled with humming machinery, glowing consoles, and walls covered in holographic displays. The air was heavy with the sense of history and purpose. This is incredible, Lyra whispered. It's like a library, a laboratory, and a sanctuary all in one. The AI's voice echoed through the chamber. You have found the heart of Earth. Here lies the knowledge of humanity's final attempts to survive. Study it well and carry it forward. Elena walked through the chamber, her hand brushing against the glowing surfaces. She felt a surge of pride for the humans who had lived here, and a deep responsibility for those who would come after. We will honor this, she said. We will learn, and we will not repeat their mistakes. Hours turned into days as the crew cataloged the archives. They learned about the complex systems humans had built to regulate the environment, about energy sources and recycling technologies, about conflict resolution and governance. Each discovery reinforced the HFY truth. Humans, even in the face of failure, possessed ingenuity, courage, and the drive to survive. Yet the message of warning lingered. The AI showed them simulations of potential future disasters, asteroid impacts, resource scarcity, and interstellar threats. Humanity's past mistakes had left vulnerabilities, and these dangers were not yet gone. We must act, Elena said, not just for ourselves, but for every human out there. The colonies, the systems we've built, they must be protected, Dr. Ortega nodded. We have the knowledge now, and the will. We can use what they left behind to prevent similar destruction. The crew prepared to leave the ruins, carrying as much information as possible. As they boarded the horizon, they took one last look at Earth, a planet of beauty, memory, and warning. The message they had received was clear. Humanity had failed once, but it could rise again. Elena addressed the crew. We've seen the past. We've learned from it. Now we return to the stars, not as explorers, but as guardians. Whatever dangers await, we are ready, and we will ensure humanity thrives, not just survives. Outside, the sun rose over the ruined cities, casting golden light on the crumbled towers. The planet seemed to breathe one last sigh, carrying its hope and warning to those who would listen. As the horizon lifted off, Aaron glanced at the transmission console. The words repeated one final time. You've doomed yourselves. But this time, the crew understood. It was not a sentence of despair. It was a challenge, a call to action. And humanity, guided by courage, wisdom, and resilience, was ready to answer it. The stars awaited. Humanity's journey was far from over. The horizon sailed silently through the void, carrying not just a crew but the weight of humanity's history. The knowledge recovered from Earth was invaluable, but it came with responsibility. Captain Elena Ramirez knew that understanding the past was only the first step. To protect the future, the crew had to act, and quickly. Dr. Lyra Ortega sat at the lab console, analyzing the final data from Earth's archives. The AI simulations are alarming, she said, her voice trembling slightly. They show potential disasters we never anticipated. Asteroid impacts, system malfunctions, even solar flares. Some of these could destroy entire colonies if we're not prepared. Lieutenant Aaron Cho frowned. Are these real threats or just warnings? The AI could be exaggerating to make us careful. Elena shook her head. The AI isn't exaggerating. Look at the trajectory charts from our sensors. There's a cluster of large asteroids heading toward the outer colonies. If they reach their path, the damage would be catastrophic. The crew gathered around the main console. The holographic display showed a swarm of rocky bodies, tumbling through space like uncontrolled meteors. Most were small, but a few were enormous, hundreds of meters across, with the potential to wipe out entire cities. This cluster, Aaron said, wasn't here when we left Earth. How did it form? Dr. Ortega studied the scans. Gravitational disturbances, collisions in the asteroid belt. It's natural. But the timing is unusual. Earth's AI likely detected it centuries ago. That's why it sent the warning. We are witnessing the consequences in real time. Elena clenched her fists. Then we have no time to waste. We must protect the colonies. Humanity survived Earth's collapse once, but now it's spread across the stars. We cannot let another disaster undo our progress. The crew began planning. Using Earth's AI archives, they discovered old orbital defense systems, satellite grids designed to monitor and redirect asteroids. Most were offline or outdated, but some could be reactivated. With effort and ingenuity, the Horizon crew could use these systems to create a planetary defense network. This is going to require precise coordination, Aaron said. We'll need to activate the satellites, calculate asteroid trajectories, and implement deflection strategies. One mistake and, well, the colonies could be lost, Dr. Ortega nodded. We can do it. The AI left detailed protocols. We just have to follow them and improvise where necessary. Elena took a deep breath. Then let's begin. Humanity has faced impossible odds before. This is no different. The first step was the reactivation of the orbital satellites. The Horizon moved into position, and the crew began sending commands to the long-dormant systems. Sparks flickered along old circuits as power surged through the ancient networks. Slowly, the satellites came online, their sensors scanning the approaching asteroids. Sensors are active, Aaron reported. We have a full readout of the cluster. There are 10 large objects and hundreds of smaller fragments. Impact trajectories are dangerous for 3 of the outer colonies. Dr. Ortega studied the projections. We can't destroy them outright. The energy required is too great. But we can redirect their paths, nudge them slightly off course using gravitational tugs and energy beams from the satellites. Elena nodded. Then that's what we'll do. Begin the calculations. Hours turned into days as the crew worked tirelessly. Every calculation had to be precise. A tiny error could send an asteroid straight into a colony instead of deflecting it. They ran simulations, recalculated trajectories, and double-checked the AI's old protocols. During the tense operation, the crew also faced mechanical failures. Some satellites were too damaged to respond. Others required manual intervention, which meant sending drones or crew members into hazardous orbits. The Horizon's engineering team worked tirelessly to repair what they could, demonstrating human skill and determination under pressure. This is incredible, Dr. Ortega said during a rare moment of quiet. The AI left these tools, but it's human creativity that's making them work. It's what saved us on Earth, and it may save us again, Aaron nodded. Humans adapt. That's our greatest strength. We've survived against odds that no one else could face. Elena smiled faintly, though worry remained in her eyes. Then let's survive this one, too. The critical moment came when the largest asteroid approached the first colony. Calculations indicated that only a precise gravitational tug, combined with a targeted energy beam, could redirect it. Any deviation could spell disaster. We'll have to send a drone to attach the tug module manually, Aaron explained. It's risky. If it fails, the asteroid will strike directly. Elena took a deep breath. I'll go. It's my responsibility as captain. Humanity's survival is worth the risk, the crew protested. Captain, it's too dangerous, Lyra said. Elena shook her head. We don't have time for debate. We've trained for moments like this. I'll handle it, and with the AI guidance, we have the best chance of success. Donning her spacesuit, Elena boarded the drone pod. The Horizon's engines hummed as she was propelled toward the asteroid. Outside, the rock loomed immense and foreboding, its jagged surface glinting in the distant sunlight. Elena's heart pounded. She had faced danger before, but this was different. This was the survival of entire human colonies resting on her actions. She attached the tug module, activated the AI-assisted controls, and waited as the satellite grid powered up. The asteroid shuddered slightly as the energy beams activated. Slowly, imperceptibly, its trajectory shifted. Elena monitored every calculation, adjusting manually when necessary. Time seemed to stretch, the silence of space pressing against her senses. Finally, the asteroid veered off course. The colony below was safe. Elena exhaled, relief washing over her. She looked back toward the horizon and saw the crew cheering, their hope renewed. You did it, Captain. Aaron's voice came over the comms. Elena smiled, though she knew the fight was far from over. 1 down, 9 more to go. Over the next several days, the crew executed similar maneuvers, each more challenging than the last. They worked together, combining intelligence, courage, and determination. Smaller asteroids were deflected easily, but the largest required precise timing, calculated risks, and unwavering focus. During one particularly tense operation, a fragment broke loose from a larger asteroid, heading directly toward the horizon. Elena's quick thinking and Aaron's expert piloting maneuvered the ship safely, but the moment reminded them all how fragile their success was. Dr. Ortega shook her head. If it weren't for human ingenuity, we wouldn't have survived. The AI could guide us, but it's our decisions, our creativity, and our courage that saved these colonies. Elena nodded. That's the truth of humanity. We face danger, adapt, and find solutions. It's what makes us remarkable. By the time the last asteroid was deflected, the colonies were safe. The threat that had loomed like a shadow over human civilization had been averted thanks to knowledge, skill, and human perseverance. As the crew gathered on the observation deck of the horizon, Elena looked out at the stars. The asteroid cluster had passed, leaving only distant glimmers in space. Humanity had survived, but the experience left them humbled. The lesson was clear. Knowledge alone was not enough. Action, courage, and collaboration were essential. The AI's voice echoed softly through the ship. You have succeeded. Humanity's ingenuity and courage have prevailed. But the universe holds many challenges. Continue to learn, continue to grow, and continue to protect. Aaron glanced at Elena. It's a warning and encouragement. We can survive if we work together and think wisely. Lyra smiled faintly. And we have the chance to make sure the mistakes of Earth are never repeated. Elena nodded. We will. This is only the beginning. Humanity has faced impossible odds before. We will face many more. But one thing is certain, we will endure. We will thrive. And we will protect the future of our species, no matter what comes. The horizon continued its journey through the stars, carrying humanity's hope, courage, and determination into the vast unknown. And as the crew prepared for the next chapter, they knew that their actions had proved one simple, timeless truth. Humans, even against cosmic threats, were capable of greatness. The universe was full of challenges, but humanity was ready to meet them head-on. The horizon drifted in the calm of space after the successful deflection of the asteroid cluster. The crew had accomplished what many thought impossible. Yet the relief was short-lived. The AI archives from Earth continued to reveal more dangers, problems that could no longer be ignored. Captain Elena Ramirez sat in the command chair, reviewing the latest data. The outer colonies are safe for now, she said quietly. But there's a threat we can't avoid. One asteroid, the largest in the cluster, is on a path that could strike multiple systems if not redirected precisely. And the calculations, they show that only a manual intervention can stop it. Dr. Lyra Ortega's eyes widened. Manual, you mean someone has to physically guide it into a safe orbit? Yes, Elena said, her voice steady but firm. We can program systems for smaller rocks, but this one is enormous. Automated deflection won't work. Only a human can do the final calculations and adjustments in real time. It's dangerous. Almost suicidal. Aaron Cho shook his head. Captain, it's too risky. We can't risk a life. Maybe there's another way. Elena met his gaze. If we do nothing, billions of humans across multiple colonies could die. One life, maybe two, can save millions. I volunteered because it's my responsibility. The captain leads, and sometimes that means taking the hardest risks. The crew fell silent. They respected her courage, but the weight of the decision pressed heavily on them. This was not just a mission. It was a choice between life and sacrifice, between fear and duty. Dr. Ortega finally spoke. We'll help you every step of the way. The AI guidance, the satellite network, and the calculations, everything will be optimized for you. But the final decision, the manual adjustments, must be done by a human. Elena nodded. Then we prepare. Time is limited. The horizon approached the asteroid's trajectory. The massive rock tumbled slowly in space, its surface jagged and unstable. Elena suited up in the reinforced EVA armor, her helmet reflecting the distant sun. She stepped into the drone pod designed for the mission, a small craft capable of attaching to the asteroid and controlling its final trajectory. Aaron and Lyra monitored her progress from the ship, tension gripping their faces. Every calculation, every adjustment depended on precision. You're ready, Elena said, her voice calm. Let's do this. The drone pod launched and Elena moved toward the asteroid. Outside, the void seemed endless, silent, and cold. The asteroid grew larger with each approach, an immense monument of rock and danger. She activated the stabilizers, anchoring the pod onto its surface. Sparks flew as the grapples secured her to the jagged rock. Data flowing. Aaron reported over comms. Trajectory adjustments are minimal but critical. One wrong move and the asteroid could accelerate toward the colonies instead of away from them. Elena focused. Every calculation, every adjustment, every decision had to be perfect. Her mind ran through the simulations, comparing them to the AI's predictions and correcting for small variations. Time seemed to stretch. Seconds became long minutes and minutes became eternity. Dr. Ortega's voice trembled over the comm. Captain, a fragment is moving unexpectedly. We've recalculated. Adjust slightly to the left, now. Elena acted instantly, moving the pod's thrusters with precision. The asteroid shuddered, wobbling in space, but responded to her adjustments. Sweat formed on her brow, though inside the helmet it could not escape. She could feel the weight of responsibility pressing on her like gravity itself. Good, Aaron said. Keep going. You're almost there. The asteroid's trajectory began to shift gradually, aligning with the safe path calculated to avoid the colonies. But another challenge arose. A second fragment, larger than expected, broke away and spun dangerously close to Elena's pod. Captain, Lila's voice was urgent. It's moving faster than predicted. You need to adjust quickly. Elena's hands moved automatically over the controls. She had trained for moments like this, but training could not replicate the pressure of saving billions of lives. The pod rocked violently as the fragment collided with its stabilizers. Alarms blared inside the cockpit. We can handle this, Elena whispered to herself, steadying the controls. Focus, precision. Using the pod's limited thrusters, she nudged the asteroid slightly off course, while simultaneously rotating it to absorb the fragment's impact. The rock shuddered again, sparks flying across its surface, but it held steady. Trajectory stabilizing, Aaron reported, relief in his voice. You're almost through this. Minutes passed like hours. Every adjustment was tiny but critical. Elena's entire body ached, but she refused to give in to fatigue or fear. This was humanity's moment, and she could not fail. Finally, the asteroid began to move steadily along the safe trajectory. Calculations confirmed it. The massive rock would no longer threaten any colonies. It's working, Aaron said. You did it, Captain? Elena exhaled deeply, her heart pounding. It's over. But even as relief washed over her, she knew the pod had taken severe damage. Some of the stabilizers were failing, and the return path to the horizon was uncertain. Aaron, I might need assistance getting back, she said calmly. Prepare for a tether maneuver. Aaron guided the pod carefully, using a combination of the ship's tractor beam and precision thrusters. Slowly, Elena's pod was pulled toward the horizon. She docked safely, collapsing slightly as the airlock sealed. Dr. Ortega rushed to her side. Captain, you're safe. You saved billions. Elena smiled faintly, exhaustion evident on her face. We all did. Teamwork, courage, knowledge. It's what saved them. Humanity is not perfect, but it's capable of greatness. The crew gathered around her, their faces filled with pride, relief, and admiration. They had witnessed a human act of ultimate sacrifice, not a loss, but a risk willingly taken for the sake of countless others. Elena addressed them, her voice firm. We have seen what humanity can do. Even against impossible odds, we can prevail. But we must remain vigilant. Challenges will come. We must be ready to act, to adapt, and to protect our species. That is our duty. The AI voice resonated through the ship. Human courage and ingenuity have succeeded where prediction alone could not. Your actions demonstrate the enduring strength of humanity. You honor your ancestors and secure the future of the species. Lila smiled softly. They believed in us. And we delivered, Aaron added. It wasn't just skill or technology. It was the human spirit, the drive to survive and protect. That's something no AI, no machine, could ever replace. Elena looked out the observation window, seeing the asteroid safely moving away from the colonies, no longer a threat. The stars stretched infinitely around them, and for a moment the vast universe seemed calm, almost peaceful. We survived, Elena said quietly. We protected our people, and we learned the most important lesson. Knowledge alone is not enough. Action, courage, and sacrifice define us as humans. Dr. Ortega nodded. And the AI from Earth. It was right. We had to learn from the past, and now we have not only survived, but we are wiser for it. The crew spent the next hours cataloging every detail of the mission. They recorded Elena's maneuvers, the calculations, and the AI's guidance. This knowledge would be shared with all colonies, ensuring humanity's survival in the future. Elena finally allowed herself to rest. She knew that more challenges would come, more dangers in the cosmos, but she also knew this. Humans, united by purpose and guided by courage, could overcome any obstacle. And in that quiet moment, floating above the remnants of a once great planet, humanity's promise shone brightly. The crew of the Horizon had faced the ultimate test. They had risked everything and emerged victorious, not because they were flawless, but because they were human. The stars stretched endlessly, and the universe waited. Humanity had proven that even against cosmic threats, they could rise, endure, and protect the future. The Horizon drifted through the calm of space, its hull reflecting distant starlight. The asteroid threat was gone, the colony safe, and humanity's future, fragile but intact, lay before them. Yet for Captain Elena Ramirez and her crew, the mission was far from over. Knowledge from Earth demanded action, understanding, and careful planning. Humanity's mistakes were a warning, and the lessons of the past had to be carried forward. Elena stood on the observation deck, staring at the stars, thinking of the ruins of Earth below. The planet was quiet now, scarred and empty, but alive in memory. The holographic AI guardians had shown her the final moments of humanity's past, the courage, the failures, and the unwavering drive to survive. "We've come far," she said softly, turning to Dr. Leela Ortega and Lieutenant Iron Cho. "But this is just the beginning. What we learned on Earth, it has to guide every decision we make moving forward." Lyla nodded, her eyes shining with determination. "The AI gave us more than warnings. It gave us hope. Knowledge of what worked, what failed, and what we must never repeat. We can use it to build a better future for all human colonies," Aaron added. "And not just for survival. We can improve life, protect ecosystems, create strong communities, and ensure humans never lose the lessons of their origins." Elena smiled. "Exactly. We survived a cosmic threat, but survival alone isn't enough. Humanity must thrive." The first task was to return the gathered data to the outer colonies. The archives from Earth contained detailed instructions for stabilizing planetary environments, energy-efficient technologies, and advanced resource management systems. The crew transmitted the information through secure channels, ensuring that each colony would receive the knowledge needed to prevent disasters. "We've prepared a blueprint for safety and sustainability," Dr. Ortega said. "If the colonies follow these steps, future generations will benefit immensely." Aaron glanced at the screens showing the transmitted data. "It's amazing. Centuries of human ingenuity packed into these archives. It's proof that even in failure, humans leave a legacy that can guide others." Elena nodded. "And that legacy will grow. The AI's hope, combined with our actions, ensures humanity will not repeat the mistakes of the past." As the crew traveled through space, they noticed signs of progress in the colonies. Cities rebuilt with sustainable energy, orbital farms producing food efficiently, and advanced transportation networks connecting worlds. Humans had learned from the message of Earth. They were cautious but innovative, resilient but thoughtful. One colony, New Aurora, stood out. Its inhabitants had integrated AI guidance with human oversight perfectly. Energy was harvested from solar satellites, water and air were recycled efficiently, and education emphasized both science and ethics. Children played in green parks, learning about their ancestors and the mistakes that once threatened them. Dr. Ortega smiled. "This is what Earth's message was meant to inspire. Humanity can thrive if we choose wisdom over recklessness." Aaron added, "It's proof that humans are capable of greatness. Even after catastrophe, we can rebuild, improve, and survive." Elena felt a surge of pride. "We are more than explorers now. We are guardians of the human spirit, carriers of lessons learned and protectors of the future." Despite the successes, challenges remained. Space was vast, unpredictable, and filled with dangers. But the crew of the Horizon understood something important. Humanity's strength lay not just in technology, but in the people who used it. Courage, creativity, collaboration, and the willingness to act. These traits ensured survival and growth. The AI Guardians had spoken of hope, but hope alone was not enough. Action was required. The crew developed plans for interstellar communication networks, early warning systems for cosmic threats, and emergency response protocols. They trained colony leaders in disaster management and ethical decision-making. Knowledge was no longer hidden. It was shared, accessible, and ready to be applied. Elena addressed the crew in the command deck. We have a duty, not just to survive, but to thrive. To ensure that no human again hears the warning, you've doomed yourselves. We act now so future generations can live freely, safely, and wisely. The journey back toward the inner systems brought reflections of Earth's past. Ruins below told stories of innovation, conflict, hope, and failure. Children's drawings, holographic letters, and AI records reminded the crew that even in failure, humanity's spirit had never been extinguished. Dr. Ortega paused at a display showing old cities. Look at this. Even in chaos, humans tried. They experimented, learned, and adapted. Their courage, creativity, and determination are what allowed us to survive today. Aaron nodded. It's inspiring. We carry their legacy and we can improve upon it. That's the essence of humanity. Flawed but resilient, intelligent, and brave. Elena added, and that is why HFY exists. Humans are capable of facing the universe itself, learning from the past and creating a future that is bright, safe, and full of potential. The horizon finally returned to a stable orbit near Earth's ruins. The AI Guardians activated one last time, projecting a final message. Humans of the future, you have listened and acted. You honor those who came before. The mistakes of the past need not define you. Continue to learn, continue to grow, and continue to protect the legacy of your species. Humanity's spirit is strong and it will endure. Elena and her crew bowed their heads in silent respect. We understand, Elena said, and we will carry this forward, not just as a warning, but as inspiration. The crew spent hours cataloging the remaining AI archives, ensuring nothing would be lost. They recorded the lessons of Earth, the courage of past humans, and the triumph of their recent mission. Every piece of knowledge became a guide for future generations. In the following months, humanity thrived across multiple systems. Colonies implemented the lessons learned from Earth, building stronger societies, stable ecosystems, and cooperative governments. Communication networks allowed for rapid warning of cosmic threats, ensuring that no asteroid, solar flare, or natural disaster could catch them unaware. Children studied the history of Earth, the story of the horizon, and the message that had saved humanity. You've doomed yourselves and if you fail to act wisely, but hope remains if you learn and grow. Captain Elena Ramirez reflected on their journey one evening in the observation deck, gazing at the stars. We've seen the worst of humanity's past, she said softly, and we've seen the best. We survived, not just because of technology, but because of courage, intelligence, and the human spirit. That is what makes us strong. That is what makes us worthy. Dr. Ortega joined her, smiling, and now we have the chance to shape the future, to ensure that humans thrive, that mistakes are remembered, and that hope is never lost. Aaron added, the universe is vast, full of unknown challenges, but if humans face them together, with courage and knowledge, there's nothing we cannot overcome. Elena nodded. This is humanity's promise. We will endure, we will grow, we will protect our legacy, and we will never forget the lessons of Earth. The Horizon continued its journey through the stars, not just as an exploration vessel, but as a symbol of human courage, wisdom, and resilience. Humanity had faced the consequences of its past, learned from it, and acted to protect its future. Every colony, every planet, and every human benefited from the courage of a few who dared to listen to Earth's final message. In the distance, Earth rotated silently, scarred but honored. The ruins remained, a reminder of failure but also a testament to hope. Humanity had risen from the lessons of its past, proving that even against impossible odds, humans were capable of greatness. And so a new dawn began, not just for Earth, but for all of humanity. A dawn of hope, courage, and endless possibility. The stars were no longer just a destination, they were a challenge, an opportunity, and a promise. Humanity was ready to meet it. For the first time in centuries, the words of Earth no longer rang as a warning of doom, but as a reminder of what humans could achieve. You've doomed yourselves. Unless you act wisely. And now you have. Humanity had acted. Humanity had survived, and humanity would endure.